Okay, so this is Lola's Roadmap to Success video. Here's Lola. And I just want to go over a couple of things that we chatted about today. And Lola's only 8 months old, so she's still pretty excitable, hyper, and also, in a chewing phase. Dogs tend to go through a high chewing phase up until about 2 years old. So we want to make sure that she has a lot of positive things to chew on. We discussed giving her marrow bones. Remember to give it to her raw. You don't want to cook those or anything like that. And give that to her in her kennel. She can spend about 1 to 3 hours in her kennel a day while you're home, which is actually going to help prevent her from developing separation anxiety later in life, which is fantastic. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. You're preventing separation anxiety, and you're also going to be helping her to chew on things that you want her to chew on without it ruining the rest of the house, and things like that. So, and you can give her one of those as long as her belly tolerates it, one a day. I put them in the freezer personally because it takes longer for them to work through it. The other thing I want you to do is maybe go and get her a rope toy, so that way she has something to play with. Put it up when you're not playing with it, so it's not always accessible to her, so it's a special game and treat. But go ahead and play tug of war. She loves that type of game, and it's a great way to get mental stimulation, to get some energy out, and things like that. The other thing we discussed are some new rules, so one of them being no furniture for now. After about 30 days, or if she's starting to calm down, you can start having her on the furniture, but have her with furniture with permission only, meaning she has to sit first on her own, and then you can pat the couch and give her permission, but she has to offer a really nice behavior, like sitting or laying down, in order to get permission to be allowed up on the couch. That way it's still maintaining that leadership dynamic because she's still looking up to you for direction, but she's maintaining kind of looking up to you like as a parent figure. The next thing is getting her out for walks. We really want to target getting some of that extra energy out. So going for walks, we went over the structured walk a little bit by using the martingale collar. So if you don't remember how to go about that, you can go to our website, dogonproblems.com, click on dog training tips. There's a little search bar, and we have a bunch of videos on structured walk. So type in the words structured walk, and that will help you go over how to put the martingale collar on, the leash setup, and the different rules that we have to keep her from pulling on the leash. The other thing we discussed is going and bring her to a doggy daycare 1 to 2 times a week, even for just half days. It'll help her learn bite inhibition because she'll be bit back by other puppies. And that's a really good thing for her to learn, and gets her out socialized and out with other people and different dogs. You can also bring her to dog parks and other things like that to get those energy needs met. It'll also help get, like I said, that energy out, so you should have a nice good day when she gets back because you'll get a bit of that edge off. As for the nipping, biting, jumping, go ahead and when she's doing this to the kids, we've talked about having them kind of fold their arms, look up in the air, and call to you guys, the adults, and then you can use the escalating consequences to essentially move her away from the kids. So you're essentially going to be getting in between her and the kids and moving her away from them, so she's learning if she nips and bites at them, she's all done playing with them at that moment. And if she does this to any adult in the house, so you and your husband, what you want to do is actually just leave the room immediately, because if you leave the room as soon as she kind of puts her teeth on you or opens her mouth, she's learning that nipping at you equals no more fun because she's alone, and you went through the gate, you went up on the stairs, you went into a different room, whatever the case may be, and wait until she's nice and calm and then come back. If you come back out and she starts right away jumping up at you, walk right back out of the room again to teach her that, no, this isn't fun and we don't want to play this game. And so that's what you're going to do when she's doing things like that. Same thing with barking. If she demands bark at you, so she's looking right at you and barks at you to say like she's protesting, same thing. Walk away, ignore the behavior, and wait for her to stop and calm down. And then we also discussed passive training. That's when she sits or lays down on her own, and you say the command words. So if she sits, you say sit, and then you pet her to reward her. It's a different way from having to actively train her to sit. So the more she sits on her own, lays down, and you say, just pair it with the words sit, down, the better, because she's learning what those words mean, and then eventually you'll be able to say sit and down, and she'll know what it means. One of the last rules that we had was having a bed in the living room for her now that she's not on the furniture, and it's an off-limit zone for the kids. So if she's on the bed, that's her calm spot. She gets to stay there, be nice and relaxed. No one's going to play with her, try to lure her off, and it's a nice, good place for her to go and lay down and have some of her own space. All right, and then the last thing I want to remind you is that everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.